I think this is not a consequence of free markets. What's happening is there's a transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class to the wealthy. This comes about because of a monetary system that we have. When you inflate a currency or destroy a currency, the middle class gets wiped out. So the people who get to use the money first, which is created by the Federal Reserve System, benefit. So the money gravitates to the banks and to Wall Street. So that's why you have more billionaires than ever before. Today, this country is in the middle of a recession for a lot of people. Michigan knows about it. Poor people know about it. The middle class knows about it. Wall Street doesn't know about it. Washington, D.C. doesn't know about it, but it's because of the monetary system and the excessive spending. As long as we live beyond our means, we are destined to live beneath our means, and we have lived beyond our means because we are financing a foreign policy that is so extravagant and beyond what we can control, as well as the spending here at home, and we're depending on the creation of money out of thin air, which is nothing more than debasement of the currency. It's counterfeit. And it is a natural, predictable consequence that you're going to have people benefit from it and other people suffer. So if you want a healthy economy, you have to study monetary theory and figure out why it is that we're suffering. And everybody doesn't suffer equally, or this wouldn't be so bad. It's always the poor people, those on retired incomes, that suffer the most. But the politicians and those who get to use the money first, like the military-industrial complex, they make a lot of money and they benefit.
As usual, all roads point to Ron Paul was right, and as the world seems to be playing a high-stakes game of Jenga with the economy, Bitcoin is surging like it's on an Optimus Fields caffeine spree. Hey, we got a lot to cover. Let's get it.
The safe assumption for an investor is that over the next 100 years, the currency is going to zero. That's my working hypothesis.
Guys, even Charlie Munger is getting it. Should be a big red flag, but here we are at the World Economic Forum, where it seems like a good place to get the information because they're the people who create the problems that they then have to solve. And the word around Wall Street and beyond is that the global economy is on a tightrope and the safety net has gone for a coffee break, according to a report by the WEF themselves, good old Klaus and the gang. A majority of chief economists believe a global recession is likely in 2023, with 18% considering it extremely likely due to, well, interest rates and worldwide geopolitical chaos. If you watched our recent video where Dylan and Claire broke down how wars happen when debt bubbles burst, I think this guy really makes a great point, and we're gonna check out this clip. All the banks are broke, the financial system is collapsing. Let's roll the tape.
Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years. And that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long.
Then we have Forbes echoing this sentiment. The global economy could face a recession and one of the weakest paces of growth on record in 2023, according to annual projections released Tuesday by the World Bank Group. And of course, citing accelerated inflation, worsening financial conditions, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Oh, of course, we gotta blame all these things. Not take responsibility for yourselves and your own fiscal and monetary policy and your lack of discipline, the reckless spending. You're 33 trillion in debt. You don't have the right to critique anyone. God, I wish these people would just go f themselves, you know? But let's continue. But kind of interesting. One thing I kind of noticed, a lot of people are starting to understand inflation, all the issues happening, and noticing all the things happening around them at a growing and growing pace. And that also means that inflation and the other things become more of a self-fulfilling prophecy, which also means that Bitcoin and safe havens, things like that, well, they're going to do well. But you got to protect yourself. The big thing is that people are asking the question, is a global recession, is a global economic collapse imminent? So everyone's got their kind of spider senses up and they are tingling. Let's go ahead and roll this clip, see what they have to say. They kind of drive this point home really, really well. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Well, Bitcoin is hope. Stack those sats, baby. Let's roll it.
Are we about to go for the perfect storm? We've had an unusually mild October. A cold snap is coming. A choke in supply of oil and gas. Israel has closed one of its Tamar gas fields on Monday. Could we be heading for the perfect storm? of a utility bill hike?
It's almost feeling at the moment a change in the solstice. The weather's changed. Everything appears to change. We've had obviously the horrors coming out of Israel and Gaza. And so which way is it going to go? And it's very difficult to tell. I think one of the things you probably can show is that whatever happens this winter, it's probably not going to be as mild as last year. There will be a constriction on supply because there will be an increase in demand. And so given those issues, prepare for something, I think, worse than we're seeing, but hope for the best on that.
Again, guys, we can take a look at the news, we can see the headlines, and just this March, that's what this article was hitting on, the financial tremors that were felt from the 3 regional banks that triggered financial turbulence in the US, spilled over to Credit Suisse in Europe. Major deal. But hey, with all this chaos, we need solutions. You know, used to have a boss, and I'm sure all of us said, quit bringing me problems, bring me solutions, right? So let's see if we can find some solutions. All right, let's look at this from Dylan LeClaire. We got zero interest rate policy for the long time, highest inflation readings in decades, negative real yields across the curve, daily stock market all-time highs, 8.3 trillion Fed balance sheet, 400% debt to GDP, 100 trillion plus in unfunded liabilities. This is the final crack-up boom of the fiat experiment. It's not looking good out there. I mean, I think America needs a leader more than ever. Why is the financial system collapsing? Let's see what the government has to say.
The fault that this happened. It was China's fault, and China's going to pay a big price what they've done to this country.
Typical. Amidst this financial calamity, this financial thriller, if you will, Bitcoin decided to throw a party, surging to 30K. A lot of shorts are liquidating their shorts right now, and it looks like the reverse Kramer has nailed it yet again.
I just can't get on I can't be in something where Mr. Bitcoin is about to go down big.
Tell me, the reverse Kramer never fails. Hey, as we said, a lot of shorts are liquidating their shorts, and a lot of people believe the surge was initially triggered by a debunked report on the Bitcoin ETF approval by the US SEC. That was a fun morning, but more on that in a little bit. Regardless, it looks like, despite the fake news, it looks like Bitcoin doesn't really give a shit, as this spike has brought another wave of bullish optimism, with some experts suggesting that the Bitcoin price will grind higher from here. Let's take a look at those numbers. While those markets were playing seesaw, we've seen the VIX popping and things getting interesting there, bond markets, but Bitcoin went up, burning nearly 100 million as it leaped from 27.9 to 30K on the ETF rumors. But more on the Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock and others have updated their ETF prospectus very early near the end of the week, and it also is showing, and this is James Seifert, the comments we've seen from Kathy and others confirming that the SEC is actively engaging with them, and other reports are hinting at possibly before the January date, maybe within a week. It's looking like there is some consensus that by January, it's looking like spot ETF will be going live. It's like the global economy went on the roller coaster and Bitcoin decided to take the elevator, and folks, this elevator only goes up. Well, until someone presses the down button. But for now, it seems like Bitcoin is the cool kid in town, and while the global economy is still figuring out how to tie its shoelaces, I think what it really comes down to is people are waking up to the fact that Bitcoin is a flight to safety, a flight to security, a flight to quality.
This rally is way beyond the rumor. I think the rally today is about a flight to quality.
So is Bitcoin the lifeboat in a sea of economic uncertainty? Well, Larry Fink, Paul Tudor Jones, Michael Saylor, Stan Druckenmiller, well, you get the picture. They seem to think so, and time's gonna tell, but the proof is in the pudding or baked into the protocol. And one thing is clear, while the world's financial chiefs are biting their nails, Bitcoin don't give a Now, this week was freaking crazy, so I'm gonna go ahead and run it down for you for gravity and scope. And again, this was just this past week. And I want you to understand that when we said things were on the verge of collapse, well, there's a lot of signals. And you can go through our feed to catch a lot of this on Twitter, but we had London Stock Exchange halted trading for no reason. Prosecutors stormed into Jerome Powell's speech. U.S. Navy intercepted an Iranian-backed missile. U.S. government issued worldwide caution advising Americans abroad. Iran said it will intervene if Israel doesn't stop its Gaza operation. New iPhone sales fell 5% in China. LinkedIn started its third round of layoffs this year. Canada's Scotiabank said it would lay off 3,000 employees. Costco said its CEO would step down end of the year. An ISIS member opened fire into a crowd with an AK-47 in Belgium. Rolls-Royce started laying off thousands of employees in order to cut costs. U.S. restricts sale of new NVIDIA chips to China. Multiple airports in France were evacuated over threats of a bomb. Tesla says Cybertruck deliveries will begin on November 30th. Victoria's Secret said it's done prioritizing wokeness. That's good. Over sexiness as sales continue to decline. Nokia announced it would lay off 14,000 employees in order to cut costs. Rockets and drones attacked a base in Iraq, housing American forces per Reuters. America will start to buy 6 million barrels of oil to refill SPR by January. But hey, what a fucking week! Things are really heating up in a major way. It's probably a good time to take self-custody of your Bitcoin. What's that? You need help, you say? Well, hey, we got just the guys to get you covered. Self-custody is the revolution, and Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. They can help you with your journey. If you need help with wallets and nodes, inheritance planning, no KYC purchases, how to buy Bitcoin, accepting Bitcoin payments, collaborative custody, multi-sig, and more, they got you covered. Schedule a free 30-minute call today using that link below. Also, guys, keep those alerts on. We got big news coming your way tomorrow. But in the meantime, if you're looking to go further down the rabbit hole and see why the growth of Bitcoin adoption will dismantle the military-industrial complex, the legend Max Kaiser has you covered. And if you're feeling bullish, it appears Joe Rogan may have joined Team Bitcoin. So let's f***ing go, am I right? And check that out. Like, subscribe, share the Sound Money Gospel, set the notifications, follow us on Twitter, and we will be your guide through the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. I'm going to catch you all tomorrow. We're coming in hot. Peace.